As Archimedes said when he discovered the principle of displacement, Eureka.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Stacks here, and today I'm checking out X-Force number 9 with Benjamin Percy, Joshua Cassara returning on art, Dean White's your color artist, and Dustin Weaver and Edgar Delgado are your cover artists knocking out this piece. So the last couple issues of X-Force, we've been focused on Domino and Colossus. This time we go back to the rest of the team with Wolverine, Jean Grey, Sage, Beast, Black Tom Cassidy, and Kid Omega. And there's also a few others. There's some pretty interesting cameos here that I'll get into here in a little bit. Let me start by also saying that this is I highly recommend this book. X-Force from the get-go has been the pace setter for the Dawn of X. It hasn't had a down issue yet. Everything's been exciting, everything's been building to something, and one issue after another, you're floored. Even on the issues where there's not a ton of excitement, the ramifications coming out of that issue will generate conversation with fellow comic book fans, and that's what I really liked about this story. I think Benjamin Percy's been doing a really good job on it, and the artists have really been complimenting his style of story. Alright, so let's get into the book. The book starts with Wolverine, Daken, and Scout, aka Honey Badger, sitting here playing Russian roulette. I'm not sure if Russian roulette is that an offensive term now to Russians, or should it be like mutant roulette since they're playing on Krakoa? I don't know. But anyways, they're spinning the bottle, hands to the head. Whoever loses has to don the claws. Bottle stops. Daken swears. And snick, out come the claws right through the head, and he is down. Of course, he's right back up again because, you know, healing factor, right? So while Wolverine takes a big swig of whatever he's drinking, Jean Grey pops in his head and says, "Why don't you try doing something nice with them sometimes?" And Wolverine's like, "What are you talking about, Jeannie? That's exactly what we're doing." And he goes, he helps Daken up off the ground and says, "See, this is good bonding. This is what fun looks like." And while all that's going on, that's not really the interesting part. The interesting part here is, you know, Cyclops looks over at Jean and says, "Hey, what's wrong?" And she explains that, "Look, sometimes I feel like X-Force has screwed up my internal compass. It's harder to know what's right and wrong anymore." And in my opinion, it's interesting to see Jean feeling this way, and her kind of resentment toward this moral ambiguity that the X-Force kind of embrace, and especially Beast, because Beast, you remember back to the issue where they were down in Terra Verde, which is your random made-up South American country. That was issue number 6. You know, Beast basically came across in that issue as a complete psycho, like so arrogant, and just came off like this "I can do no wrong." Well, we'll see how that turned out here in a minute, but first you get this awesome 2-page spread of the Green Lagoon, and this is, I mean, it's just a really cool shot. Now I think some people may pull the Apocalypse is sitting at the bar, that's not funny, and you know what, you might be right, but just take a minute and just sit here and dive into this thing, and it's really fun. And plus, X-Force has been like foot all the way down on the gas emotionally since issue 1. I think it was okay to take a moment like this and just have a really cool 2-page spread that you can get lost in for a little bit. Something else that's really cool is Joshua Cassara and Benjamin Percy shared this the day on New Comic Book Day, shared this shot with everyone and said, "Hey, just take a moment away from this stuff that's going on right now and all the chaos, and just get lost in this for a minute." And I thought that was really cool of them. Anyways, here's me hopping back into the story. First, you have a conversation between Sage and Domino, and the interesting part of this really comes down to Domino admitting that, you know, even though I carried all that stuff with me and I still have the memories from what happened to me after being resurrected, it doesn't bother me the same way. She actually even makes the comment, she's like, "I don't know how to explain it, but it's like everything that happened, it's like it happened to someone else." And Sage follows this up by asking, like, "Look, are you telling me that stuff in your head that you blatantly asked for back the last issue before you died, when Colossus said, you know, he promised that he would make sure you still had those memories, are you telling me that that's been wiped away? And Domino just kind of says, like, look, it must have been what I wanted, okay? You know, you're supposed to be your best self, right? So now the question is did Colossus not follow through? Did Professor X not follow through? Does this have something to do with the Five fixing those psychological and different problems that they're seeing and basically improving the mutant genetic code? I mean, what is really causing this issue? Because she made it very clear that those scars and that baggage were hers and hers alone, and she wanted to bear them because she thought it made her a better person, for better or worse. Whatever's going on, it's going to be interesting. And you also have Black Tom Cassidy, who's had his own screw up since he's been here, and this guy is being completely overworked. Every dolphin that flops around in the bay, any seaweed that moves, any pollen that comes into contact with something inorganic, some trash blowing by in the ocean, whatever it is, this guy is detecting it and feeling it from Krakoa in the way that he's combined and melded with Krakoa and serving as this giant sensor that he is. So the poor guy just tries to take a break, sit down, have a drink. He looks into his giant margarita tub or whatever it is, and he sees the face of Krakoa and freaks out a little bit. He's like, look, just not here, not here too. Leave Black Tom alone. He stands up and he bumps into Gorgeous George. Well, Gorgeous George decides to be a complete jerk about it and tosses Black Tom across the room. Well, Sage is enjoying her time out from behind the desk. She steps up and just straight kicks Gorgeous George right in the jaw. She gets grabbed from behind by forearm. The Wolverine and kids crew get all excited. They're about to go throw down when Beast comes up and says, hey, sorry about this, but your violence is needed elsewhere. From there we get a white page that's basically a summary of X-Force number 6, where the X-Force went to Terra Verde, this South American country, after there was an assassination attempt on Professor Xavier. One of the things it also gives us a little more clarification on is what happened with this this technology they had, because they were pursuing technology, this telefloronic, I can't know if I said that right, this neuroresponsive green tech that was basically similar to like nanite technology from Wakanda, that they were hoping and really, you know, leveraging their economy heavily on. And when Krakoa stood up and started with all their bio-based technology, it really kind of hurt Terra Verde. Well, when the economy crashed, you had a bunch of these individuals who call themselves Muerte Verde, or the Green Death. They activated their prototypes of this stuff, and they basically turned themselves into these plant symbiotes. Well, recently, all communications from the country has stopped. All broadcasting, all publishing, phones, emails go unanswered, radio, digital, silence. So X-Force is called in to go and investigate. Interesting comment here at the very end of the white page is, I couldn't possibly have had anything to do with this, but a part of me is anxious as to what the team might discover. Really, Beast? Nothing. I can't even tell if he's got like that super dry sense of humor that he's like, oh yeah, I did this, but oh well. But the team that gets dispatched for it is Wolverine, Domino, and Kid Omega. They go to walk through the portal, and Kid Omega goes straight Kitty Pryde and bashes his nose right into the portal. Crunches his glasses, nose is crooked now. Wolverine steps up and starts checking it out, feeling around, seeing what's going on. And he realizes it's not the portal that's the problem. There's something on the other side of it. Well, Kid Omega is all happy to oblige with opening the door, summons up a Gatling gun, and is about to rip through it. And they do just that. They blow a hole through this cacophony of plants and bodies and who knows what else. They just blow their way through it and go walking in. From there we jump back to headquarters, where you have Beast, who is the man on comms for the mission, but you have Jean and Sage, who are both absent for whatever reason. And Beast justifies this by, look, we all deserve some time off, some time to go and unwind. Don't worry about it. I am all the intelligence you need for this mission. And since that is the case, the first thing you need to do, your first directive, is find the president. Well, it just so happens that they've already stumbled upon him, and whatever plant this is has basically made him a part of the chandelier. Well, Quentin Quire, he inspects this a little bit closer, and he noticed the Mayan glyphs on some of the plants, and he starts trying to put things together and asks for Beast to check out anything he can on local Mayan Terra Verde mythology. Wolverine steps on the balcony, looks out, and says, "Hey, look, I don't think you're going to like the view from here, and we certainly aren't on Krakoa anymore, and you have this old Mayan-looking temple in the distance." And it seems like that's probably the source of a lot of their problems, so they set off through the jungle to get there, and Quentin Quire is going to complain every single step of the way. And it gets to the point where Wolverine's just sick of his whining, grabs his shirt, cuts it off, takes his pants, turns them to shorts right there in front of everyone, and is like, you know what, hope it's a little bit cooler now. Well, as the team gets closer to the temple, they start having some interference. For whatever reason, they're saying that the pollen and the spores are interfering with their signal. That you don't have that problem when Jean Grey's there, but she's not there. So as they get closer, they lose communications with Beast. You're getting a broken signal coming through. You get a do not, caution. Well, whatever it is, the three stop and they're saying, like, look, something's off here. With not including Jean and Sage, feels like we've been dealt a bad hand. Every nerve is telling them, look, something's off here about our team and Terra Verde. And this crazy symbiote thing jumps down in front of them, forms up, and walks into the ruins. They look at that, they watch this happen, and they're like, look, what isn't Beast telling us at this point? From there, we jump back to Krakoa, where Black Tom Cassidy is passed out, slobbering out of it. He just got tore up, and he's gone. Well, he's sitting there talking in his dreams about Kane Marco. He's talking about Juggernaut and talking about, hey, you want to shove Black Tom Cassidy around? Hey, let me introduce you to my friend Juggernaut. How about that? Well, Beast manages to sneak up on Black Tom, wake him up, and Black Tom instantly reacts and has all these roots and spikes and stuff come out of the ground, but stops them right before they actually do anything to Beast. Well, Black Tom's sitting there saying, oh, you saved me from this nightmare. And Beast takes full advantage of it. He's like, well, if I saved you, maybe you can return the favor. Well, Beast scoops him up. And as you see, Kid Omega running out of the temple, screaming over the intercom, Beast! You have Beast telling Black Tom Cassidy, look, you've been saying you needed some time away from Krakoa. Well, I'm giving you a chance. I'm sending you to the field. And you have Kid Omega yelling, Beast, do you read me? Request for backup. Terra Verde isn't a hostile country. It's an angry god. And the roots and everything just reach out and start wrapping around him, grabbing him, and pulling him back into the temple. And that's it. That's it for the issue. So this actually brings up a lot of interesting questions. First of all, what's Beast's liability in all this? If this plant did in fact take over and kill a bunch of humans, is he guilty of the kill no humans law in Krakoa? Two, is this his plan all along? Is this something Beast accidentally put into motion? Did he seriously think that when he did that to the president's son, that there wasn't going to be this second and third order effect of him, degrading down into that symbiote and walking out the door? Or is this something that Beast was not prepared for, and he is his arrogance is going to get him in trouble? It's going to be really interesting to see Black Tom, who's got a chip on his shoulder. He's been waiting to get out and do something away from the island. It's going to be interesting to see him cut loose and do some battle here. Can't wait to check it out. Definitely a recommend. Make sure you're picking up X-Force. Make sure you got it on your pull list. And of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you drop a like. Comment down below. Is this something Beast has planned out with his, CIA network, the access to all the data he has? Does he have a plan for Terra Verde and this symbiote thing that they are facing? Or is this something blowing up in his face because of his arrogance? Y'all tell me down in the comments below. Looking forward to hear what you say. Gotta say, because like I said, I think it's more of an arrogance thing, but I would not be surprised if it comes out that he knew the whole time. Of course, why not share it with the team? That's a great question. But when you're dealing with a situation where there's no real consequences because all these individuals can simply be revived and resurrected, do you necessarily have to tell them? I mean, if I'd be kind of ticked you sent me on a mission like this and didn't tell me, but like I said, you guys tell me. Oh, I also thought it was pretty cool that they included in that big picture Chris Claremont, Dave Cockrum, and Jack Kirby. And I knew all three of them were mutants. I knew it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Don't forget that Benjamin Percy has a book coming out in April called Year Zero. It looks like a zombie apocalypse type book. Looks like it'd be right up his alley. So if you've liked X-Force, that might be something you want to check out. So just ask your LCS about it. That's all I got. I hope you guys have a great week. Stay safe out there. Stay healthy. Wash your hands. And just be careful, guys. That's all I got. Real Comic Stacks. Out.